Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rocking It in 5D because I think you're all just rocking it in 5D. You don't really need to activate anything, right? So we just need to allow ourselves to play and be that, right? So what if there's nothing to activate but just to allow yourself to play and acknowledge the awareness you already have, the power you already have, and so much. Did you all get to practice with one another? I hope. So, yeah, so let's bring everybody's energy into this field and everyone who's listening on replays, and everyone who's here, everyone who's only able to join us on replay for now. Okay, let me just tune into everyone's energy. Good. And so, again, gonna just be in our heart and take a breath and just bring awareness to your own breath for a moment. And last time, it's helpful, I think, to review just a little bit. We'll talk about just the space of you, and the space of you is in alignment with, and it is the 0 point field. Right? I think that's how all the miracle healers in the past have done it, that they are so congruent with being that energy. And one of the things I really, really love and appreciate about the Catholic Church is that they document all the miracles of the saints who were humans. And that gives us a template for how to be creating miracles without having to go through all the suffering that the saints have to go through. So, yeah, let's clear that energy field that to be a miracle worker, to be a saint, and all that, you have to go through lifetimes and lifetimes of suffering. What if you already did that, right? So now in this life, you can just enjoy the fruits of that labor, and this is the lifetime to celebrate all that you learned in all lifetimes. And there's no need to suffer in order to be considered a chosen one, or whatever it is that people do that makes them suffer even more. So let's clear the need to suffer, and then all the ways, all the cellular memories you do have about all the lifetimes when you were punished for having special gifts, and even all the lifetimes in Atlantis or Lemuria where knowing too much somehow resulted at the ending of a whole entire continent or entire race, right? And so we want somebody else to be the saint, somebody else to be the miracle worker, and somebody else to be the miracle healer, because we're afraid if we're the one, we're going to be blamed for whatever it is that we're going to create. So whatever those fears are, subconscious, conscious, and all the past lives, one, you did get in trouble, right? So let's clear all that so that in this life, you give yourself permission to play without any fear about the, you know, you can't. be high vibration and do things that are low vibe, right? So it's those who misuse power who create problems. But so what if you give yourself permission to play? And what if you can really receive that you are the master? Oh, you are already on the master path. So anything that keeps you from really knowing and receiving that you are already on the master path, let's clear that. And then buying into the belief that you need more training, more this, more that, when what you really need is just more stillness and quietness so you can go in and access the wisdom within. So all the giftedness or the talent or the specialness you have attributed to other healers, other masters, other miracle workers, all that you projected on others, all the positive things you project on others, what if they are just there to remind you of what you're capable of? So, all the positive projections, why don't we bring it back into you? The talent, the power, the magnificent skill set, the really exquisite intuitive abilities, gifts for transforming energy, gifts for transforming any situation. So anything and everything you've seen anyone else do, what if you can do that for you? Okay, so all the resistance, conscious and subconscious, to having that for you. Oh. And any resistance to owning your gifts, any resistance to really just knowing that you are the field of miracles, you are an embodiment of the field of miracles, right? Because if you are always divinely sourced, you are always capable of everything that the divine is capable of. You are divinely sourced, right? You are divinely sourced, always, always. Yeah, so take that in. You are divinely sourced, always. Okay, and today I think it would be fun if we play with the meridians because just working with that helps you do so much. But before I do that, I just want to give you a little bit of the the legality of stuff. So I know a while ago I stopped using terms that would be like a diagnose an acupuncturist would give because I realized that there were many lawsuits between physical therapists and acupuncturists uh, because there are physical therapists who do dry needling. That means they just work with acupuncture points without the needle. That's called dry needling. And the whatever national organization that certifies acupuncturists sue the organization that is for all registered physical therapists. So the turf wars that are going on, uh, that's what made me work with it a whole different way so that it's just my way and I'm not using their terminology. And thankfully, I don't need to. I'm not using their diagnosis. I don't do that anymore. And thankfully, I don't need to. And also, when I'm teaching this, since I'm teaching all this like in an hour instead of 3 years, you got to come up with a way that bypasses whatever the theories you need to learn. For 3 years, you need to learn the theories, where the meridians are, what the 180 acupuncture points do, what the different combinations do, blah, 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 blah. And that puts us in the headspace if we have to remember all those points, remember where each meridian is, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, when I work with this, I realize the meridians and all those diagnoses in Chinese medicine, like, spleen qi deficiency, kidney yang deficiency, everybody's kidney yang deficient. That's easy enough. Liver fire, liver stagnation, heart fire, blah, blah, blah. All those diagnoses are in so many ways not the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is issues in the life that happens before that. And those every single person can relate to. And it's best to talk about healing emotional events from a more grounded and personal level rather than a theoretical level. I mean, who likes to talk about pain and suffering and grief and grieving from a theoretical level, right? We want to be seen and heard and understood on a very personal level. And so, how you choose to communicate and play with that and play with emotions is up to you. And I just trust you to know what your level of comfort is. You don't have to be a certified therapist, and so we don't want to overdo the emotional healing, and you don't want to appear as some counselor or therapist unless you do have training as a counselor or therapist. So the way I do this is just like the way I do holographic healing. I just have everything related to this meridian organ system, and then what feels dense, I clear that. And I didn't even tell you what I'm clearing. And I always usually, the first pair of meridians I work with is liver and gallbladder because they are the wood element, springtime. And so you don't need to know the theoretical if you don't even want to. And that's in so many ways sometimes even better so that you don't get your head involved and think, and what does this mean? And what does this mean? Because you would almost always know if you ask to just tap into the liver and gallbladder energy, you almost always know that there's stress, that there's uh, a frustration or anger, or repressed anger. You almost always just know. And so we can simply practice it that way. So let's practice putting in all the issues that's related to liver, liver meridian, gallbladder meridian of everyone on this call. And just ask that that be showing up right in front of you and that you don't need to know what it all means or what level of repressed anger, how many generations ago, whether it's hidden, unresolved. It's all that, right? So sometimes I would just tell my clients that so that they know what I'm clearing. And sometimes I start clearing and they would know and they would tell me. And sometimes I just start declaring and then stuff just changes that way. So here we go again. So put in auto, let's just do one at a time. Liver, liver meridian issues of everyone on this call. My gosh. Okay, here we go. Oh. And if you are guided to make a certain sound, declare that. You're welcome to sound out whatever sound you're guided to make. Declare that. If you're guided to just use touch, if you're tactile like me and you want to just use touch, you can do that. And you just have a feeling, you just want to bring so much awareness to it that your awareness allows it to change. That's beautiful. So practice any way that feels right for now. But I'm just going to do what I usually do with my hands because I can feel the energy. So, liver and liver meridian issues, this life and all lifetimes. Oh, yeah. So let me know in the chat box how you're doing playing with this. Oh, good. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, good. Good. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. You guys are all making it happen. Excellent. Oh, mm-hmm. Good. Oh, oh. Yeah, some people totally heat up and some people get cold. Yeah. Hmm. Good. 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 So you guys are natural at this already. Awesome. Oh, perfect. Oh my God. Good, you guys. Look at that. Energy running up your arms and body, cold arm tingling in feet, goosebumps. Oh, good, you guys. So everybody's getting a response. Excellent. Y'all doing excellent work. Wow. Yeah, yawning. Good. Yeah, the shivers. Wow, good. My goodness, very good. Good stuff, you guys. Wow. So you are totally engaged with the energy is what I'm seeing. So you totally got this. Wow, you guys. Wow. This is only day 2. What are you going to be at day 5? Wow. Yeah, liver meridian. Oh, excellent. So you feel the hot spots in the hologram. Excellent. Whew. Yeah, and I highly suggest just working with the hologram, and that way you can clear it when you're done with it and you're not picking up on anyone's stuff. It's such a fun way to do it. Yeah, and I highly recommend the book, The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. But you're already doing it anyway, and so maybe you don't even need to read it because you already got the information anyway. Wow, excellent. So I would do the same thing again with the gallbladder meridian, and it's about the same emotional stuff. So let's tap into and tune into gallbladder meridian stuff. And the gallbladder, my gosh, that's one organ that gets removed often. And even if it's removed, you still feel the energy of it. And if you're working with a person who has a gallbladder removed, I would still tap into it energetically, and I would begin with releasing all the traumas that created the need to remove the gallbladder because the imprints of that trauma would still be there. And then the trauma of the surgery and the recovery, and then the medications, we can clear all that. If you're working with someone who doesn't have a gallbladder. But here we go. Oh my God, this energy is all gallbladder meridian stuff. Wow, you guys. Woo. Oh my God. So that's so good, right? And again, however you choose to communicate the emotions that come up or what you feel you need to release, this people who are just massively anti anger. And no matter how many times I tell them they have to tell people to fuck off so that they have boundaries, and we laugh about it because they're not going to do it. So yeah, this repression and this misunderstanding of the massive potential, the beautiful, beautiful, massive energy behind anger. It's so misunderstood. And yet, when it's used, so much gets created. It's literally volcanic energy that is fast acting. And the thing is, if everyone owned their anger, I don't think we would be in war, right? So I just saw a really, really, really amazingly impressive, passionate, and intelligent way to channel anger. I was listening to a speech by Jon Stewart, you know, the comedian Jon Stewart, Comedy Central, whatever. He's so passionate about advocating for um, all the rescue workers, the firemen during who um, sacrificed their time and lives during 9/11. And many of those men and women are having problems getting insurance to pay for their health care. So he went on to Capitol Hill and fought on their behalf. And that display of passion and engagement and anger, he got the whole house to listen to him. And then exactly a month later, they passed a bill to cover healthcare for all 9/11 workers. I'm like, oh my God, he's my hero for showing us how to really engage with that energy and make it really work for you in a dynamic way. I mean, he's a passionate man who has a platform, so he's using his platform in such a dynamic way. So all the erroneous fears we have about our anger, all the erroneous judgments we bought into about anger, let's clear all that so you can tap into the anger that would support you to create a lot more in life. Yeah, tap into that and see how you can use that dynamic energy to create for you because it's such a dynamic energy. And I want to say the more angry you are, the more upset you are, that means the more vision you have for a better world. Because people who are complacent and like, oh yeah, everything's good, let's just be positive, that complacency kills, kills initiative, kills incentive, kills any potential for change, right? Complacency is like the enemy of change. And I'm so fucking against that. I can't stand people who are so positive all the time. They can't just stick their head in the sand and be like, oh, let's be positive. No, there's a reason you have this anger. And yeah, the misuse of anger is horrifying. The misuse of anger can be horrifying, those who are out of control. So there's a lot of judgment about that because it's such a dynamic energy. It takes skill to use anger, doesn't it? And you have to build up the proper platform and be able to convey your message in a way that people can hear you, right? You can do that. So, what if you can tap into your anger and know how to create the proper platform so that people can hear you and your message? I mean, this is the thing about, the climate activist Greta. I don't know how she managed to create a platform for herself that's so dynamic because there are people in South America, there are environmental activists in South America, Africa, every continent who have been talking about saving the rainforest since the 1970s and 80s. There have been people who are talking about not uh, overly killing old trees and whatever, logging, all the anti-loggers. There's lots of people talking about climate and advocating for the environment for so long, but somehow Greta knows how to create a platform for herself and use her anger to get herself out of her depression. That's what I'm so impressed about. She used that to get herself out of her depression. So if you've been forcefully judging yourself, forcefully repressing your anger in any way, you can see how turning it against yourself would make you depressed. So, any of you who have been dealing with chronic illnesses that totally debilitate you, instead of creating against yourself, what if you can turn all that around and create for you now? So, all the energy patterns, conscious and subconscious, that create you to create against yourself by trapping you in a trapping you in any terminal illnesses or chronic conditions or any low energy condition you created. You can turn that around by tapping into the most dynamic energy you have is anger, right? So what if you can make it use for you now? So all the judgments about anger or being an angry woman, yeah, the mythology of Medusa is so unfair, right? We have to turn around that whole mythology of Medusa because I think that as someone who was raped, she has every right to be freaking angry and chop anyone's head off, you know? So all the unfair judgments, all the mythologies about anger that actually further trap you in your own anger. Let's release that so that you're no longer trapped in that anger. And anywhere that's trapping our bodies, let's clear that. No, we're not going to clear that. I just told you, you're supposed to go tell people to fuck off. No, I'm going to leave it so that you tap into it and you choose how you want to handle that because I don't think it's a good idea to just clear stuff, right? Because it's the intelligent use of your emotions. But we're going to clear where it hurts in your body, where it's trapped in your body, so that yeah, turn it into a source of resilience, a source of creativity, and a source of inspire action for you. Okay, so that was liver and gallbladder and part of the liver, part of the wood element. So now we're going to go to the earth element, and that's stomach and spleen. And in Chinese medicine, that when the stomach and the spleen are not working in harmony, they say the root cause is overthinking and worrying drains stomach and spleen energies. But it's all about receiving. So this is also about over giving, right? So let's just bring in, well, let's do one at a time. Let's just do stomach meridian first. So you can put all stomach meridian issues in front of you and play with it however you feel like playing with it to change the pattern. And then you can put time in this, right? So if most issues did not, when people show up, most of the issues have been created sometime in the past. So you would just ask the energy to take you to the origin of the problem if you need to work from the origin of the problem. So I always imagine that right in front of me is here. And I set this like here in my hologram. This is now, this is what a patient's problem is. If I need to go back and connect to a point for where it began, I just let my hand show me where it began. Usually it goes back to the left, the very beginnings of the issue, and I clear it from there. And sometimes it does not require that. Sometimes it's just clearing everything that's in this hologram. And you can just say, oh, past, present, conscious, subconscious issues with the stomach, or the dietary issues, emotional issues, psycho-spiritual issues, and any other aspect of the stomach and stomach meridian. Oh my. Okay, so I guess you guys have problems with receiving, huh? All right. So let me sit back and work on this. Stomach and all the issues with overgiving. That's not receiving, right? So all the overgiving, all the issues that create you to overgive, let's clear that. And yes, I know some people may have stomach ulcers and hernias and all kinds of medical diagnosis related to that. But and I just ask, whatever diagnosis that all the underlying issues that contributed to it, that created that issue, be clear. And then I clear in the hologram. And that way we don't have to figure out whether it's dietary, hereditary, DNA, environmental. Sometimes it's helpful to know whether it's environmental toxicity so that they can identify the real source of the environmental toxin and remove it from their environment or their home or their water or their food. Even in just saying this, it brings up all that in the hologram for people. So we're going to clear that. It's so cool. You guys have no problem making this light alchemy thing work for you, right? That is so awesome. Spleen from so spleen, worry, overthinking. It's very similar issues to the stomach. So Yeah, yawning till you hurt. So you're doing a good job, you guys. So most people have spleen chi deficiency, so we're gonna clear all spleen issues. Here we go. Oh, oh. Because when we're all doing the same thing together, wow, that energy. Oh, good, you guys, good. Oh, yeah, you know, sometimes we really yawn. And sometimes the body wants to use the energy differently, right? So that's okay. And it's okay to also not yawn. It doesn't matter, right? As long as you know that something is happening. Because yawning is not the only way things are released, but it's such a common way. I don't know why that's like the thing that happens whenever I do healing. But it doesn't have to be, right? Yeah, it totally is still working. It totally is still working for you, whether you yawn or not. It totally is still working for you. And sometimes it's like it's maybe your body is actually ready to go into the vortex, the relaxation response, where you may feel an energy shift or temperature change, like your hands will be getting cold and your feet are getting cold and your body gets warmer, or it may be the opposite where you are hot. So, yeah, lots of things going on. And if you want to track what's going on with your own body, you can do that. If you just want to track what's going on in the hologram, which is part of the body anyway, you can do that. All right. Yeah, good, Vivian. You got the yawning thing going on. All right, then now we're going to move to the metal element meridians, the lungs and large intestine. And this time of the year, that's like everybody, right? The lungs, the large intestine. And in Chinese medicine, that's grief and grieving. When it's out of balance and when it's in balance, you're inspired, right? It allows you to carry out, inspire action, follow through with inspiration. So here we go. So again, we're just going to ask are the lung and lung meridian issues, or the large intestine and large intestine meridian issues be in this hologram now. And And so when we're not acting on inspiration, or when we feel like we're not taking inspired action, it often leaves a whole trail of regrets, right? And you want to clear any residues of regret and even shame. Sometimes we have so much regret about the past that it holds us back. And then it even creates shame if you over identify with not ever being able to take action. If you over identify with that, it just becomes a source of shame. And if you allow that to define you, that creates a lot of struggles with being able to take action, creates all kinds of procrastination. So let's clear all that. Oh. Judgments you have already bought into and internalized that create you to not be able to act on your own inspired ideas. Oh, oh, let's clear all that. Oh, 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 oh. And it's so nice to depersonalize this and see it as an energy that you can clear and take care of, and that it's not an aspect of you. It's not about your personality, right? So if you don't let it define you and make it about your personality and just about an energy that you can release, it really depersonalizes the frustration of being a procrastinator, for example. I mean, you can be in the habit of procrastinating, but you don't have to buy into the thought that you are a procrastinator, right? And then for some people who just can't make a decision and act on the choices, you somewhere in your life you may have bought into the definition of you as someone who is a loser. So you keep on making choices against yourself to um, fulfill that definition. So any limiting definitions you have bought into, such as I'm a procrastinator, I'm a loser, I'm not the sort of person who can achieve much, all that, or I'm the underdog, all those limiting definitions. Let's clear that so that inspiration can really work for you and not against you. Because we'll always inspire. Some people just use it against themselves instead of using it for themselves. Do you see how that is? It's just a natural energy that you have. It's a matter of using it for you instead of against you. And the universe is non-personal, so it's not about you, right? And you can just make a different choice about how to use it. You can use it to confirm positive definitions if you like, or you can use it to confirm very negative, outdated definitions that are really somebody's black magic. Somebody's black magic was working on you. So we're going to clear all the black magic. That's all the name calling, all the put downs, or the limiting constructs that have been imposed on you by this reality. Oh, that's a huge one. All the limiting constructs that are imposed on us by this reality since Adam and Eve. Let's clear. Or since, no, even Eve was under a lot of stuff. Let's not blame it on Eve like everybody else. All the limiting constructs since our last dinosaur relative. Here we go. Oh. Oh. all the limiting constructs that are still operating in your DNA and in your subconscious. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, excellent insight to share, Monique. Thank you, thank you. Oh, good. So all limited constructs you bought into that keeps you from acting and following through with your inspired ideas and acknowledging that you are an inspired person, right? So let's clear all that. Oh. Well, none of you would be on this call if you were not inspired to go beyond this reality. Because people who are happy with this reality, they don't think much about doing this at all. Ooh, good, excellent. Oh, good. Oh, yeah, it's feeling like a lot is, yeah, I feel like there's still some stuff we need to do here for some people, for some of you, clearing the limiting constructs that hold you back, no matter what meridian they're stuck in, no matter what organ system they're stuck in. Clean it from the whole body. Oh, oh. But it's the unresolved, unfulfilled expectations of old parents that are always passed down to us subconsciously. And as kids, we're always trying to make them happy because our lives literally depended on whomever provided for us. So even as kids, we're intuitive and we want to be able to make our parents happy and figure out what is it that would make them happy and all the subconscious things that they think about that they don't even know how to put into words and what they think about us that we can pick up so readily as kids. All so everything that brings out now, everything they thought about you that you know. And now you can release everything they thought about you, everything anyone around you thought about you, you know. And here's the thing, we all know that the mind is powerful. And sometimes what people think is a lot worse than what they can even verbalize, and you know it. And that's a painful field of energy to tap into because when people are in their thoughts and not in their hearts, they think of the worst possible things about you sometimes. And as kids, we know that, right? As kids, we know all their judgments, all their expectations. and whatever else they were thinking. Let's clear that because they were literally in their heads. And of course, when we clear that, we're able to receive what their heart really is thinking, right? So we're only clearing all the stuff they're thinking that was in their heads that may be negative, because usually when people go in their head, it is negative. And by clearing that, then we can go into our heart and really hear from their heart and see how frustrated they were and how they didn't have a way to access healing for themselves either. And they're just stuck on um, that vibration. And some people almost addicted to anger, not because they want to, but because that's how their brains are looped. Yeah, you know, it's almost like looping a figure eight, uh, and they can't get out of it. The brain is hijacked. Yes, and for so much of human history, I think that very few people are taught emotional intelligence. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me if we're all raised by parents who just were not in their heart but in their head, right? So let's release all the residues from that space. And while it's easy to say, what people think of you is none of your business, except thought travels very quickly. And you already know whether it's your business or not, it already hits you, right? So we're going to clear that. And then that gives you a clearer space. Then you can put some space between you and them. And then you have a choice about what to buy into or not. But when we were kids, we didn't have that space and we didn't have that choice, right? So everything your parents thought about you from the beginning of the birth till now, that is not serving you. Let's clear that. So now we have enough space that now we can say, what they think of me doesn't matter. It's the issue, right? You got to clear enough to make that a non-matter now. Okay. Good. And just like clearing the lungs, now we're going to go to the fire element meridians, the heart, small intestine, triple burner, and pericardium. So that's this, yeah, four meridians and three organs. The triple burner is not an organ, but it's a very powerful meridian that takes care of. That's part of the endocrine system. It's part of the sympathetic, parasympathetic system. It's also responsible for metabolism, digestion, and many, many things. So this is going to be a huge one. So all the heart meridian, small intestine meridian, the heart, small intestine, pericardium meridian, and triple burner. All the issues related to that. And the fire element, the emotion that's correlated with this is joy. So then everything that blocks your joy shows up in these meridians. So all the social constructs we have bought into that limits how much joy you can have, and all the hidden loyalties to family that create a limit on how much joy you can have. Let's clear all that. Oh, oh. And then with heart issues, what I know about the heart and heart attacks, and why in this country specifically, the greatest number of heart attacks happens Monday morning at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., like clockwork. It's that heart attack. It's amazing how language says so much. A person actually feels attacked by others. And the attack may not be physical, but it has physical consequences. That person may be verbally attacked, sabotaged, subconsciously attacked. Their work may be attacked. And I think men more than women really define themselves by their work, right? So when their work gets attacked, they feel attacked. And it's not surprising at all that especially men would have heart attacks when they're at work on Monday morning, or when they just think about going to work on a Monday morning, because they know, well, their bodies know they've been hurt and attacked, right? So the cholesterol, the fat, this, and that. Cholesterol has nothing to do with heart attacks. Nothing. Cholesterol, the whole cholesterol thing, has everything to do with the number of statins that are being sold. Has nothing to do with heart attacks. It never prevented a heart attack, right? Yeah, cholesterol, our bodies actually require cholesterol. Cell membrane integrity requires cholesterol. So let's clear all the stuff around cholesterol and heart attack and really see how all people are vulnerable and emotional beings, and all people respond to words, all the verbal abuse, all the judgments. I think all people are so sensitive, and sometimes we totally misdiagnosed and misunderstood heart attacks in a big way. And emotionally, if we tap into our intuition and emotional intelligence, we all understand the real cause. The real cause is behind heart attack, right? Emotionally and intuitively, you all do. Yeah, we all do. It's too easy to blame it on genetics so that we don't have to look at the environment that is toxic, that creates personal issues for people. So all the gaslighting we have bought into about hearts and heart attacks and cholesterol and fat and lipids and this and that, all those mumbo jumbo around that energy field. Let's clear all that. Okay. And I think you guys can tap into whatever it is that you need to clear for yourself. So I'm just going to go on to the next set of meridians, the last set, part of the water element. So it's the kidney and bladder. And everybody says you have kidney deficiency. Well, we all have kidney deficiency since the day we're born. It's just such an easy diagnose to give anyone. That just means you're low on energy, which is such a lame diagnose. But oh yeah, we're not going to diagnose. So here we go. So everything related to kidney, kidney meridian, bladder, bladder meridian. And so the emotion that's correlated with the water element is fear. But don't ever ask anyone whether they have fears or not, because the word fear is such a mental construct. And when you're talking about emotions, mental constructs don't work. And I really can't stand the way some people create all kinds of constructs around fear so that you don't have to deal with it. But instead of talking about fear, whenever you are in this energy, working with the kidney meridians and the bladder meridian, never ask someone if they have fears, blah, 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 because they are able to relate to a real issue more than they're able to relate to a construct, right? So I find that most people who have low kidney energy and bladder energy, the water element energies, they are really dealing with serious crisis in life. And it doesn't do anyone any good to dismiss fear as excitement or blah, blah, blah. Talk to them about, the money issues, the employment issue. If they're still looking for a job, clear whatever it is to help them have clarity about finding a job or supporting them to find a way to make money or whatever the real issue is. There is a real issue that's creating problems, and I would tune into a real issue you can talk about rather than just intellectualizing the emotion, because nobody wants to talk about fear, and that doesn't go anywhere, right? So you have to tune into what is creating an actual survival problem. A survival problem is huge, like they're on the verge of bankruptcy. That's a real survival issue, right? Been unemployed for months and months and months, or the house is on foreclosure. So tune into the most painful survival issue people have, in danger of being homeless, danger of bankruptcy, or any other issues that would just bring you down to your knees. So, yeah, so don't talk about fear, but tune into the real survival challenge that they're going through, and always turn that challenge around so that they, at least mentally, are in a new frame of mind to resolve their problem. So, anywhere and everywhere where we make our problems bigger than us, we're going to clear that. And that's a good way to begin too. Whenever someone comes to you with a serious issue, a serious survival issue, you're not going to say, do you have fear or not? I mean, hello, if your home is in foreclosure, it's a pretty desperate situation. It's a real survival situation, right? If your kids are going to be taken away from you in a divorce, that's a real survival situation. So the first thing I would clear is everywhere where we make our problems and issues bigger than us. And just keep on clearing everywhere where we make our problems and issues bigger than us. And instead of telling people don't give up their personal power, find a way to empower them instead, right? Find a way to reset the energy so that they are embodying the energy of the infinite self, which is here and not up there, not higher or lower, but embodiment is bringing literally to the body, right? And so when you are the embodiment of the divine, the 0 point field, the energy of miracles, what are you capable of that you never acknowledged before? And now, what are you able to create that you never given yourself permission to create? And all the ways you can outcreate yourself and outcreate all your problems. Embody that. So that you feel that shift from feeling powerless in, in that space of fear to really expanding beyond your fear. And now you are in that mindset and also in the energy of being able to tap into far more sources and resources within you than not, right? Yeah, so when you're dealing with anyone who has survival struggles, always bring them back to this space of being so in touch with that infinite self that desperation no longer has any way of holding you down. That's where we want everyone to be when they are coming from that space of desperation. It never works to tell someone fear is false evidence appearing true or appearing real. No, if someone's house is in foreclosure, their house is in foreclosure. Deal with that, right? It's don't try to intellectualize or rationalize real survival issues. Like when people do that with me, oh, I just want to punch them. But anyway, that's me, anger out of control. Okay, so you have resistance or whatever you can put. Resistance is this density you can play with. And we move and play with it and see what message it can have for you that would allow that resistance to turn around for you and work with you and restore flow. Yeah, play with. Okay, so we still have two more meridians to cover. That's the governing vessel going up the back and the conception vessel going down the front. And the way I want to work with it is so simple. I just imagine going up the back, down the front, and I let my hands go by themselves so then I know what where the points of resistance are. And I would just do this a couple times until everything just feels smooth. So I want you all to just pretend to be able to play with the microcosmic orbit. So that's the governing vessel in the back. And then when it comes to the front, conception vessel. And for those of you who have taken yoga or Tai Chi classes, you know how they are always talking about that point in your butt, and they tell you to squeeze your butt so that the conception vessel and the governing vessel would touch each other. They are always automatically in touch. You don't have to go around squeezing your butt when you're working on your microcosmic orbit. And they would often tell you to put the tip of your tongue touching the top of your palate behind your front teeth. Yeah, I don't tell people to do that because it's already done. It's such an overkill. So if you are already working in a hologram, you don't need to tell anyone to squeeze their butt and put the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth or anything like that, because that just creates more resistance. So it's better to just gently work on the hologram. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah. Oh my God. So you guys, that's what 3 years of acupuncture school in an hour and 20 minutes. What else is possible? And I have total confidence in you being able to do that for yourself. So for homework this coming week, every day, not tonight, because you already work on this tonight, but tomorrow, at least 3 times this week, do it for yourself and be like, okay, tuning into my liver meridian, gallbladder meridian, and of course, you know those meridian. You can Google what the all the meridians are, and you don't have to take notes. But yeah, you can just list them for yourself and be like, okay, I'm tapping into this, and then just one day, spend a half an hour, 5 minutes on each meridian or whatever, and uh, and then end it with the microcosmic orbit. You know, and that's awesome. Yeah, isn't it amazing? And this is why, like, I don't teach you specific points because, again, if I did that, then I would be practicing acupuncture without a license. And the people who do dry needling, they are already in trouble. So I have to innovate a different way to work with this that does not require you to know all that theory, which is like in so many ways, it's a blessing, right? Then it allows you to really just come from your knowing, your intuition, your heart. And when you just come from your knowing, your intuition, and your heart, you're so much more relatable to your client because you're relating to them rather than talking at them and intellectualizing all the issues. Nobody likes that. I mean, what the hell is kidney yang deficiency? Everybody has kidney yang deficiency, right? And so instead of coming from that very intellectualized conversation, you are going to come from a very present heart space, which in itself is healing. Yeah, I know you guys are too sleepy to even listen to me now. But, well, first of all, congratulations, everyone. At an hour and 20 minutes, you have all did an amazing job just playing with meridians. Dear Lord, that was amazing. And if you're too sleepy to even pay attention to me now, I don't blame you. But how magnificent that you got this whole freaking system in your toolbox now. Seriously, it's freaking amazing. I'm saving you 3 years of tuition, people, and a lot of suffering. But best of all is, sometimes you can go to, like, I study some acupuncture and I go to different acupuncturists, and you can get such a different diagnosis from each one, right? Because they're only human. They're only human. So the diagnosis itself is not the most important thing, because you can go to 3 different people and have 3 different diagnoses, unless it's things that are obvious, like liver fire. Liver fire, hello, it always just comes with kidney deficiency. Heart fire always just comes with kidney stuff as well. So sometimes some people are very conservative with their diagnosis and give very general because they don't want to be wrong. But again, what it goes to show is it doesn't matter what the diagnosis. What matters is that you are taking care of the problem energetically. If you can just tap into it like you did today, you are taking care of the problem energetically. You didn't need to know what the diagnosis, but if you can communicate with people in a way that's very real and heart centered, like the real issues they're going through or the real issues and challenges they have been through, you are allowing them the space to be human and really connect with you. You are not using diagnosis to intellectualize anyone's suffering, which isn't that fun at all, right? So, how valuable is it for you to be able to just tap into these meridians, not worry about talking about the diagnose, but actually connecting with them from a very gentle, hard space that allows them to feel comfortable sharing what they need to share. And then when you release the energetic problems, it makes all the issues non personal. But I would not make issues non personal until I worked on it, right? When you worked on it and are in touch with it, then they just become non personal because it's just a pattern to release. But I would always give the client the opportunity to say things so that they feel heard and understood. And that's priceless. That is like the real heart medicine that anyone and everyone responds to. So, in just an hour and 20 minutes, you're able to do so freaking much. And if you really, 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 really freaking acknowledge that, an hour and 20 minutes, what some people would take 3.5 to 4 years. So, how amazing are you? And what else can you do that you've never given yourself permission to do before that you can now just freaking rock it like a rock star, right? So, think about all the places and spaces in your life where you've thought about how amazing this is and that is, but you separate yourself from that amazingness. You separate yourself from the wealth. You separate yourself from the the things you most want to have for whatever reason, because you thought it was beyond you. So any of that thinking and anywhere in your life, let's clear all that, right? And anything you put beyond you, let's clear, 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 clear all that. Oh, yeah, beautiful, you guys. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, aren't you really rocking it in 5D when you can do all this and in an hour and a half, in an hour and 50 minutes, in an hour and a half, you can do all this, learn all this, freaking rocking it in 5D, right? So you really experience in a very real way how dynamically you are really rocking 5D because you have just like hack a whole system that will require someone else 3, 4 years to learn and a whole big bunch of intuition money. Okay. Yeah. I want you to seriously get how you are rocking this 5D in a very real way. I'm not just saying it to make you happy. I want you to really know it, right? See it, know it. You learn the whole meridian system in an hour and 20 minutes, something that some people require 3, 4 years to, and they're still just practicing because they bought into a lot of the old 3D stuff. They would say, even after 3, 4 years of training, many of the acupuncturists say, I'm just learning and practicing. They're not so confident about it. But okay, so I love to hear from some of you before we're done with the call because I think I'm going to just be here for a couple more minutes if anybody wants to unmute.
Hi, Grace. It's June.
Hi, June.
I just wanted to say that was incredible. I am just feeling so blessed and happy and rocking it in 5D.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and for being you and for trusting me enough to sign up for this. Yes. Thank you for playing with me, June.
Yes, always.
Yay for June. Anybody else? Yeah, sit here forever. Are you all awake? Wake up, people. You pay for the class. I'm just kidding.
Never been more awake.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so are you awake to your gifts? Like, do you even have questions about that? Like I said, I think it was a misnomer to say activate your 5D gifts because you guys, from the very beginning, you're already rocking it. And like today, if you don't already see evidence of that, yeah, I can't get over the thought. I can't believe it. We covered a whole meridian system in an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. So you guys can work on your own systems now very easily. So yeah, try to do that 3 times a day and whatever issues you may have. Yeah. And if you were asleep for most of it, good. So you're subconsciously getting it. That's awesome, 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 awesome. Yeah, thank you, Robin. She says I'm a great teacher. Thank you, thank you. So I can't wait to see what shows up next week. I
Hi,
love.
Grace.
Hi, hello.
Hi, sorry, I typed the question. I was feeling okay, but like I said, I feel like I'm feeling indigestion in my stomach area. Is that part of the integration process where some of the energy is being released and it's affecting the areas of the body that's it's being worked on?
Yeah, totally could be because we work the whole meridian system, and certainly there would be lots of things for releasing, and sometimes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, take good care, and you'll be okay. You're
Thank you.
totally, hmm yeah, I totally feel the expansion in your energy. Yeah, you're doing great, Lydia. Yeah, if you were sleepy, that's perfect because that allows you to really learn it subconsciously. Yeah. Yes, we already have a 5D group. Our 5D group name is Rocking It in 5D. So next week, I can't wait to see what shows up next week. Hmm. Yeah, you'll have to show up next week to figure that out. But I'll be thinking about you all and meditating on what else. So, okay, everybody, I'm going to end this meeting.